Hello boys and girls, it is Patrick here, Eggnoc Poker, going to be moving into part 2 of our 10nl review series with Mr. OneCleanBag. He has been doing extremely well so far. He is absolutely crushing souls, harvesting souls. He's doing really, really well. So let's jump into the action again. So we are about 60% or so of the way through the video, so we should hopefully be able to finish this off in 2 parts. Considering, hopefully that I don't keep pausing and talking out my ass 24/7, which would be really, really nice if I don't have to keep doing that. Easy defend with our pocket fives. Monotone's always a bit dodgy and difficult to play, but I think we're very clearly ahead most of the time with the pocket bureau, depending on this guy's size. Hopefully he just goes small. That is not small. That is astronomically big. This is really awkward because our hand's really, really difficult to play post-flop out of position. However, we are just genuinely ahead. I think against this sort of 4.7 and 6.2, you know what? I genuinely think we're ahead of this, but at the same time, I just don't think we're going to get a chance to realise out of position. I don't think we're going to get a chance to win this pot. I'd probably just fold versus 4.7. Obviously, it's an easy fold with a spade, but without a spade, I think we'd probably just fold against that size. If you have a reason to open to 3x plus, like for example, you've got loads of deep recreationals here on table 2, then I like it a lot. Really, really like the larger size. You could even potentially even open slightly bigger, but 3 is nice. I love the way you've identified. I'm hoping it's because you've identified you've got all these weaker players with larger stacks. Really good, really, really good to start considering larger opening sizes. Really, really nice. So if that's the reason why you've done it, I love that adjustment. Versing this half pot lead, some recreationals are weird. Like some people lead here with pocket fives to find out where they're at. Some people lead here with like ace jack offsuit with a diamond. Some people always only have a top pair. Some people like do it with a flush draw. I would just float this. I think because you've specifically got ace 10 of hearts, you've got an over, you've got backdoor flush draw, backdoor straight draws and so on. I would mostly be just floating this. I don't hate raising sometimes as well, but because recreationals are so volatile, you don't know if he's just going to absolutely blow up with like 9-10 or like pocket fives or something. So I don't hate raising here. I think this is fine. I just think you just kind of like just call, whoa, talking about volatility. But I just think that if you had ace 10 off here with, it's the same as having like ace 10 with a diamond, for example. I kind of just want to realize ace 10 of hearts is like, I'm ahead of 9-10, I'm ahead of jack 9, I'm ahead of 5-6, I'm ahead of flush draws. I've got an over, I don't want to do it in versus top pair. I don't know if he folds, I don't know what his exact range is. I don't hate raising, I don't hate calling, but I would just, in position, I just love the idea of just calling and realizing hearts, realizing straight draws, maybe doing some shenanigans on later streets, but whatever, it is what it is. I mean, versing this kind of crazy jam. I'm assuming the way he snap shoved, he's. I don't want to just say people have sets all the time, right? But that felt like a massive nutted draw. The way he just snap jammed that without thinking about it personally. So that's what I think he had. But again, I wouldn't be calling with ace 10 high, obviously. Ace 8's getting to that point. We can defend against the button, depending on what their ranges are. I don't hate folding with the rake structure. It's fine to if you. It depends who your villains are at the end of the day. I mean, personally, a hand like, I don't know, ace 7, I suppose, ace 8, ace 5, things like that. I wouldn't be folding against a 2.5x on the button. I'd be more like more GTO focused in terms of defense ranges, but if you know they're very tight, then you can get it. If you want to overfold, you can. But genuinely, I think ace 8 should be a big blind defense personally. Versing this ridiculously small 3-bet. So, oh, he only had 48 bigs. Yeah, okay, I like folding then. I was going to say against like a smaller 3-bet size, I would be defending more. I know we fold jack 10 suited there a lot, but I just realised they've only got sort of sub 50 bigs. So yeah, I like the fold. Maybe if they went like 5, 6, 7, you can't fold it, but against 9, yeah, I think you can fold. We'd be folding a lot anyway, but against a small stack, yeah. Nicely done. Excuse me. Um, 8-6 off. He's just so aggressive. Like I love the aggression, but I feel like 8-6 offsuit's a little bit over aggressive. If you know, I didn't see hover. If you kind of know the player's folding a lot, fine. But it's very aggressive, extremely aggressive. So I tended to find that, like, I don't just mean on the, so I'm thinking table 2, right? Sorry, I forgot I don't have my cursor up. The cursor you see is Mr. Bags. I tend to find, like, originally, okay, this is an adjustment I made. Originally, I would always make this like 5x, 6x to try and like take this down often, or just raise with a hand that I feel is good. I feel like King 8 suited is just doing well against a limp. But people actually limp a lot of like Ace 10, Ace 9, King Queen, King Jack, 6s, 7s. Like people, and don't fold. Like they're limping too cool, unless there's massive action. So I actually think it's easier to like just check. Maybe if there's multiple limps, you can get a bit more fold equity, I do believe. But again, it depends, doesn't it? But I would just be checking here and just seeing a flop and playing, because I just don't feel like you can make, unless you start going like 6, 7, 8, which is just ridiculous. I don't think you're going to just take it down ever. And you've got a hand that just realizes relatively well for free on the big blind. So I'd probably just check this, honestly. Obviously, we're going to flop top 2. But against a limper, I mean, I'd probably just be checking. I mean, again, I know we've got a clear value hand, but I don't. It depends what type of villain it is, isn't it? If they're limping like King Jack, King 10, King Queen, you could potentially check raise or bet. I think both are just fine. As long as we check raising, I don't hate it. What do we have there? Jack 5 on table 1. Okay. Oh, it's versus an open. Fine. So yeah, if we're going to check here, we need to be check raising. And we want to be check raising really big. Just get loads of money in. I don't hate a 3x size, but I would just be going bigger. I just want to make sure we stack these guys, because we just want to be a nice check raise in, a nice pot on the turn, and then a shove on the river, really. I'd be potting this. I'd be overbetting this. I'd be betting 3/4 on this. Just anything big. Really, really big, please. I don't hate overbet. That's a large overbet sizing, but fine if you feel like villains are inelastic and I'm not going to fold, which to be fair they're often not, then I do like it. So on this river, what does this complete? 3/4. I suppose it completes 5/6, but that only developed on the turn. 8/7 probably wouldn't call the turn. King 7 would be. This is just a jam. Very, very easy jam. Don't let him check back King 10, or whatever, or 3x or die. Just shove and hope to get called. Well, you extracted the absolute maximum on that hand, so well done. I think you did play that very well. I think your overbet was a little bit big, but hell, you got the call, so good job, to be fair. Crushing it, bro. Crushing it. Top, table 2 against a small blind. Again, we're not looking for GTO strategy. We're literally just looking for value where we can find value. So what does that mean? We usually just start betting. We just bet and bet again and bet again. That's what we want to be doing. In terms of sizing, you would be usually sizing up. I mean, I think you could do some small betting. I think you probably would be mixing sizes here. But again, I'm just thinking it's just exploitation, isn't it? So, I mean, you got top. I probably would just be going 1/2 to 3/4 and then just nuking a bunch of turns. The turn is interesting. So it improves pocket 7s. I mean, 4/6 and 6/9 suited. I wouldn't think the small. I mean, it depends on the person, doesn't it? But I don't think 6/9 or 4/6 suited are in a small blind defense range in most players. Don't hold me to that, but they're not obvious. So 7/8 suited pocket 7s are the only real obvious hands that are proven on the turn. So I would just be going. I would still be betting big at this level, right? I would just be going massive, and if I get raised, then I fold. That's literally what I'd be doing. Just bet big until you get told you beat, basically, because I don't expect him to check raise a hand like 9-10 of hearts enough of the time. I'm not saying they can't, but I don't think they do it enough of the time. Just bet big against Queen X and turn flush draws and whatnot. If you get raised, we need to have a look at what type of villain type it is, but, you know, it is what it is. The 9 is not amazing, I suppose, because 10... 10 Jack... I don't think they check call out of position with, you know, on the turn with the gut shot, so I don't think 10 Jack is a thing. We already talked about 4/6. So 6x is the obvious straights as well. So let's think about 6x. He can't have Queen 6. He can absolutely, however, have 6-7, I suppose. He can have. I don't think he has 9-6. He doesn't really have 4-6. He can have 5. He can have 5-6. He can have pocket 6s. He can have 6-7. He can have potentially 6-8 suited. I don't think he has loads of sixes, but it's like how many hands does he call the river that we beat? So we beat King Queen on a 4-liner. I kind of want to say like it's dodgy because I don't want to say bet half. I don't want to say bet like a third here because you can get binned potentially, but does the villains really have hands like ace-8 of diamonds here and turn them into bluffs and things like that versus like a river small size? I would probably just check this back. I don't know if I'm being too tight here, but yeah, I'd probably check this back. I think at 10nl compared to 2nl, at where we're at in the micro stakes series, I'd bet like 10% here and just always get called, or 20%. But I think at 10nl, I'd be a bit more careful. I'd probably just check this back. I don't think we lose a bunch of value. I'd just check and just move on, just in case. Queen 9, that's unfortunate. But again, you played it really, really well, technically. You got the absolute max pre, post, and then fold it, and then just check back when you were B. So, good job. I think villain may even have been able to make a small 20% lead there. But again, I'm not expecting that at 10nl, but that would have been a pretty nice lead on villain's part if he had Queen 9 there, I think, really. Just to stop us checking back for free. So what's happened here? We've defended the ace-3 suited. Just as a thing, I'm not going to sit here and blabble. I'm really sorry. I feel like I talk way too much on these reviews, and I apologise for people's sanity. If you want to, you absolutely can mix in a bunch of 3-bets pre with hands like, for example, like ace-3 suited here, especially in the big blind, if you want to. I feel like they actually work quite well to have these polar 3-bets. You can absolutely just defend in the big blind, but for example, like if you want to do a lot of soft playing against nits to get your 3-bet up, you can 3-bet these more often to sort of salvage that 3-bet percentage against the regs. But it's up to you. If you want to mix in 3-bets and be a bit more GTO based and red line and aggression, you can add them in. If you just want to play a bit more of a linear basic ABC strategy that will absolutely just win as well inevitably at these stakes, then it's up to you. But if you want to, you can absolutely think about studying those spots. They're really, really good fun to have as 3-bets some of the time. So versing lead, I'm trying to think if I would have led this. I mean, you have more pocket 3s, you have more pocket 4s, you have more 3-4 suited, and you have 10s pure. So you probably could have led this flop if you wanted to. As a check, I'm trying to debate whether I would check raise this. You've got a decent kicker with your bottom pair. If you had a hand like 5-3 suited, then that you might check raise that some of the time. I think ace-3, I think I just like a call. I think I just call with my ace-3. We've also got really, really good implied odds versus ace-x on the turn against villains like ace-10, ace-jack, ace-queen, ace-king, and so on. I don't hate this raise. I just think I would mostly be raising like worse 3x because you don't need as much protection in a way. Excuse me, because against the ace-x, you're actually going to do a lot of damage to him when he does improve on turns. But again, I know this is fine to raise this, but I would just prefer a slightly weaker combo of your bottom pair. But it is what it is. Easy fold with the queen 10. I'd be going. I think the way I'm trying to think exploit versus like strategic here. So against your populations, if he's going to bet this flop and call a raise, he's going to have a flush draw 10, which is now I suppose locked a little bit with the 10 of clubs, or a pair, right? Like a pair beating you. So it depends. This is kind of also why it's like your hand is kind of good enough to just call in these populations and keep life easier. I think, honestly, I would be really, really exploitative and only pick a small size here, just so you just don't let him play really well. It's not like you have a set of 4s here, or you've got like king 10, and you're clearly value betting against everything in range. You've got a hand here which is kind of merging now on the turn. So you're getting value from flush draws, you're getting value from 5-6, for example. You're getting value on the flop from a hand like ace-jack of spades that now will fold, and you're getting fold equity and denial, which is also really good. But you are also boxing yourself into a spot where he's not going to fold a strong pair on the turn, or shouldn't. He's obviously not folding a 10. It's an awkward one. So I'd probably just be betting small and checking river most of the time. That's probably what I'd be doing. I'm thinking exploitation-wise as well. I'm not a big fan of this massive size again, because it's just villain, I'm not saying the large size is bad GTO-wise, but I'm just saying exploitatively, I would, if you're going to check raise this, I would probably have continued for a smaller size or just checked, because it's like, I don't think I think your villains are too value heavy Like I would, if I had 5-6 of spades here, it's a bit different. But with ace-3, it's kind of like I would have preferred just check call on the flop, and then a smaller size on the turn. Because there you go. I'm not saying your villains always just have like aces, kings, queens, or 10x when they continue, but because their ranges against check raise are just naturally stronger than they should be, because your people don't float. Like people don't bet call ace jack of spades, for example. People don't bet call like queen jack of spades. People don't, people don't have as many like 5-6 suited, etc., etc., etc. I'd be careful if you're going to check raise and then continue for a large polar size on the turn. At this level, I wouldn't do it. I would just bet smaller against the flush draws and then check the river and then decide whether you want to call or if it just goes check, check. I think against population, that's the better way to play it at these levels. I love the heart, though. I love the fact that you went for it. Can I be honest with you? Like, this river check was the best part of this hand, though, because you have identified that if he has, like, king, queen of diamonds, for example, or an overpair, like, or a 10, he's probably not going to fold the river, and he might bluff it. So checking was good on this river, as played. So we can absolutely be 3-betting the ace-jack, table 2. Again, 12, 13. So again, against a 3x open, we need to be 3-betting ace-jack. Just remember, don't be scared. Like, I know you're deeper, and I know that you're the guy's open to 3 rather than like 2, 2.2, 2.5, whatever. But just think of it, right? Just ask yourself a question before you ever have a decision. Just say, does your villain open worse than my hand? So you have ace-jack offsuit. Say to yourself, does my villain open king-jack off? Does he open king-jack suited? Does he open does he open a hand that's worse than mine? Yes. Does he also open hands that are worse than mine that will continue against a 3-bet? Does he open king 10 suited, king jack suited, king queen suited, like ace 6 suited, ace 5 suited, and will call 3-bets? Yes, he will probably. So you have a value. Your ace jack is value when you 3-bet. Okay, so do 3. Especially button on small blind, absolutely 3-bet. If you're not as confident in 3-betting deeper with larger sizes and you want to still keep your stack, you can even potentially, if you want to, I'm not saying it's the best thing to do, but maybe just call a bit more just until you get a bit more confident playing deeper pots. I'll be honest, like, again, I don't want to be a charlatan because I don't play deep stacks 6 max. I play 100 big blind strategy solely. That's what I play and apply. So I can't give you a lot of help with deep stacks, but that ace jack is a mistake. It is a blunder to not 3-bet that, or at least continue. So just be wary of it. Your ace-2 suited, I don't hate. Ace-3 suited and above, I would be naturally 3-betting. Ace-2 suited is just kind of like, yeah, whatever. So pocket sevens, again, strategically, you'd be mostly folding with some calling and I think a tiny amount of 4-bet. But sevens is just like, whatever. I'd probably, again, in your populations, I would be having a quick glance at the 3-bet. If the guy's 3-betting very, very tight, then I'd probably mostly just be folding, unless we're deep. Or if the guy's a little bit more aggressive, then I'd be a bit more happy to continue. But opening and calling 3-bets pure out of position with low to mid pocket pairs will lose you money in the long term. Unless you know that you're going to stack really deep whaley fish for like 200 bigs, fine. But often you're just going to encounter situations like this that are just really tough to play, and it's not easy to really sort of outplay opponents either. Like for example here, like you don't really have ace king a whole bunch. Ace queen will be doing some calling and 4-betting, so you're kind of limited with the combos. Do you see what I'm saying? It's just like, it's just tough to play. If you call and the guy keeps barreling, it's just really, really, really tough to play. As played, because you've got better here, you just have a bunch of ace-x. You have, I mean, it's very rare to have a 4, but you'd have like, you've got 8s, you've got 9s, you've got 10s, you've got jacks. I think you could potentially have queens as well. You could also just have a bunch of ace-x. Against a small size, you've got 2 backdoor flush draws, a backdoor straight draw with the 4. Oh no, I'm lying, you don't have a backdoor straight draw with the 4. I'm absolutely talking out my ass. I mean, with these 2 specific suits against a small size, I'd probably be mainly calling with some raise, but it's up to you. because you've got one of the lowest pocket pairs. So I don't hate just folding, but the thing is, if you're always pure folding and you're pure set binding, it just doesn't make money. It really doesn't make a lot of money with those ones. So keep an eye out for it. Have a look at the wizard charts as well if you're thinking about potentially having some flop raises and also some pre-flop 4-bets, or just looking at how often you should be folding. You should be folding a lot versus a pretty wide range, or a correct range. You should still be folding sevens quite often. Your low connectors, when they are open, defend more, but your pocket pairs, the low to mid ones, are just kind of dust. They don't play that well. Easy folds. Easy fold, 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 fold. Eight deuces a fold. Oh, we've got king 7 suited. This guy's extremely tanky. He is tanking. Oh no, he's made his open. More easy folds. King Jack suited, we can play this one. So against a larger size with a recreational who's got a shorter stack, I'm prioritized towards calling. If people open large, okay, this guy's 3-bet now, so that actually changes the whole thing. I wouldn't be 4-betting this at any frequency. I know you could 4-bet this if you wanted to in a GTO world, but I don't want to do that versus population, and I don't want to do that versus all these short stacks. I don't want to cold call either, honestly, because imagine you cold call and get shoved on. Or if you cold call, you got a 1-to-1 SPR against King Queen, against Jacks, against Kings, against Ace King, against Nut Club combo. Do you see? Like, if this went raise call, I'd probably just call, but against open 3-bet, I would like to fold. Yeah, good fold. I like it. Queen 9 would be a fold in the cutoff. We can open more hands like Jack 9, for example. Queen 9's a bit it's a bit more awkward. Very aggressive open 3-bet table 2. Jesus. Easy open table 1. These spots are always funny because if you get 3-bet, you're technically supposed to 4-bet a lot or fold, or mainly 4-bet and then some folds. Whereas in reality, 4-betting is dust. So I always find that these spots are funny. Yeah, it'd be small bet or check on table 1, but that's GTO, isn't it? Again, exploitatively, you're against a recreational with a strong top pair. I would have bet bigger on the flop. I don't hate checking hiss on the turn, but I would have probably just bet half pot, 3/4, just get called by worse, and you can call raises with your redraw. As played, you now need to be betting the river. I wouldn't trap this, or I wouldn't check this. I would just attack like an ace-x or like a jack or a 9. I would just be betting, yeah. I like it. When he snap checked, he probably doesn't have an ace, so you're attacking like a 9 or a jack, so you probably could have gone smaller, but I wouldn't be checking because we can't really check raise, and he's just going to check back all his 1-pair holdings. So if he raises his river, call, by the way. I would absolutely call versus raise because he doesn't rep fuck all. So yeah, nice, fine. Easy fold with the queen 5. Looks like we're almost done. So I think this is probably going to be... Oh, we're sitting out on the next big blind. Okay, that's fine. I'd be folding the king jack, and I'd be 3-betting more hands like king queen. Easy fold with jack 7. And the king 3. And we're done. So... really well played, mate. There's 1 or 2 tiny little adjustments and things to say, but really, really good. I'd be interested to... I won't do it in the hands because it just takes up time, doesn't it? I will have a look at that hand with the ace-3 of clubs. I mean, I told you my exploitative reasons for why I probably would have gone small on the turn, but I would just like to check I'm assuming large is probably quite good as an overall strategy, but I think I probably wouldn't have checked raise or flop, and I probably would have either checked or gone small against the specific population. But I will sim it, and I will put the notes in the comment section for anyone who's interested on that. I'm actually interested just to see how close I am to that one, or if I'm completely wrong. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. Please like, please comment, please subscribe. As always, the usual jargon in the description below. GTO Wizards affiliate link bottom if you want to save yourself 10%. Looking at some of the GTO shenanigans in the game, please have a look at it, check it out, use the link. Thank you guys. As always, have a good one, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.